his eyes. They did not look right to me. They were very hazy and cloudy, and something just did not look right. The next morning when the nurses came in, I said something to them about their eyes, or about his eyes, and they said, well, we'll take him to the nursery and we'll have the pediatrician look at him, but a lot of times the medicine we put in their eyes, the eyes stay cloudy up to 48 hours. So I thought, okay, but I just don't think that's right. Well, they brought the baby back to me, and he was awake, really good awake this time, and I could really see his eyes. They were definitely not right. Obviously, something was wrong, and I had this pediatrician come in and talk to me and treated me like I was a very, foolish mother. I was overreacting. There really wasn't anything wrong with the eyes. It was just cloudiness. So we left the hospital and went home, and I had a few family members come and see the baby. They felt the same way. So when Justin was about 5 days old, I took him to our normal pediatrician, who instantly told me that, yes, there's a serious eye issue. Immediately looked at his eyes and told me that something was definitely wrong, and bad wrong, basically. I was trying not to sob hysterically in her office while she was making phone calls to different eye specialists, trying to find someone that could see Justin that day. She found a doctor in Tulsa, which was about 3 hours away from us, because I was not even at home. It was about a 3-hour drive. He could see Justin that afternoon, and so I had to go and get Bart from work, and as I was driving to get him, I was just screaming, literally screaming at the top of my lungs, because I just didn't even know how to take this. I didn't know how to deal with this. I didn't know what this was. Was he blind? Could he see? What was his life going to be like? What are we looking at? I was so emotionally overwhelmed with just everything, all of it. And we saw the doctor. He said there was definitely significant issues. He wouldn't know until he did an exam under anesthesia, what we were actually looking at. And so a week later, we had that done. And when the doctor came out, he said that he wasn't sure if Justin was fully blind or not. He just did not know. He was not capable of taking care of Justin. One of the most renowned eye specialists in the United States, actually. He was willing to take our case, which that in itself was just a blessing, that we have this wonderful doctor that is going to see us. And so we had an appointment scheduled. I had another whole week of waiting. The worst part for me was waiting, the not knowing. What are we looking at? Yes, I know he's visually impaired, but what does that mean? And he was the sweetest baby, and emotionally for me, I was so just, God, how can you do this? Is this a punishment for me because I've done wrong things? I would think about, how is his life going to be? What struggles is he going to face? Can he live a fulfilled life? It didn't change my love for him. It didn't change any of my feelings for him. But as a mom, you want the best for your children. You want them to be able to succeed in life and fulfill their dreams, live independently, and have a family. That's what they want. And I'm just like, how can he do any of these things if he's blind? What kind of life is he going to have? And we saw Dr. Trigler finally, which he did tell me that Justin had no vision in the left eye. He had a cataract in the right eye, and he has something known as Peter's anomaly. Peter's anomaly is extremely rare. It's whenever the baby is in uterus and the eyes are forming, rectangular layers are made, and these rectangular layers separate and begin to curve, and that's what actually forms your eye, or your eyeball, I should say. You know, one part makes your cornea, one part makes your iris, one is the pupil, and one is the sclera, which is the white of your eye. Well, Justin's layers did not separate, so his eyes were just kind of some pieces of what they should be, but just one blob, really. But he thought that we had a chance for vision in Justin's right eye. If he could take out the lens, which had a cataract, and, you know, we could do some contact or glasses, and, you know, he might be able to see maybe 6 inches in front of his face. And we just felt like that was a victory at this point. I went to doctor's appointments, you know, once a week. We had vision therapy once a week. Seemed like I was constantly at appointments with Justin. But I tell you what, every time that Justin met a milestone, it was 1,000 times greater. We began to notice that he was actually seeing much better than what they had originally told us. I had my vision therapist talk to me one day, and she said, you know, you're mourning for a life that Justin has never known and will never know. He's going to live a life, and it's going to be happy and full, because for him, this is the only vision he's ever had. He isn't sighted and losing his eyesight, he's losing nothing. He's going to have a life that's wonderful and great, and that gave me such hope and inspiration. You know, just because he didn't see the way I did, didn't mean that his life was going to be any less wonderful. The vision was not going to limit him from doing whatever it is that he wanted to do. So like I said before, every milestone was super precious, and we had doctor's appointments where our doctor was just like, the only word is miracle. It's just a miracle. And when he was a little over 2 years old, I was standing in the yard one day, and he said something about my shirt, and he was about 50 feet away from me. And I said, well, what color shirt am I wearing? And he said, and I was like, I don't know, maybe he knew it from before. So I took my shirt off in my yard and said, what color shirt am I wearing? He's like, you're not wearing a shirt, Mama. And that was just so wonderful and fulfilling. It wasn't 6 inches. It was 50 feet, and it just did something in me. And, you know, Justin is such a wonderful, wonderful child. He fills our life with joy and laughter. He's extremely intelligent. I actually had to have him hook up my Zoom for me because I couldn't figure it out. He runs, he plays, he loves video games, he does great in school. And, you know, I'm just abundantly blessed to be his mom. With the 2 babies being 10 months apart, it's been wonderful. They've shared a lot of potty training. They share clothes, you know, all those great things. But it's just been a real blessing, and life just wonderful. So life now with Justin and Gavin is great. You know, Justin was 10 months old, and life was wonderful. And I had gotten on the depo shot to prevent pregnancy. And I'd had a miscarriage, and so they put me on 2 forms of birth control, a pill and a depo shot. And I went to get the depo shot, and they had me take a pregnancy test before they would give it. The nurse came in and said, well, sweetie, you won't get the depo today because you're pregnant. I'm like, I'm not pregnant. That must not be my urine, because I know I'm not pregnant. She's just like, oh, but you are.